Hey guys, welcome back to another live trading recap video. So here we are with about 25 or 15 seconds until the bell. My first trade out of the gates is going to be on OHGI, which you can see at this top right corner right here. I get in 500 shares at 295 for the break of, well, just watch. I try to get in right there. That was my original entry, which that was the break of high of day, 283. Okay, that was the original entry, but you can see how fast that shot. I mean, it wasn't even, I'm going to scoot back just a little bit here. The bell didn't even ring yet. We were at about, look at that. You see how fast that happened? So if I would have bought at 9:29:59, right 1 second before the bell rang, then I would have gotten filled at 283. But I didn't. I waited until 9:30, and by that point it was already way past me. So you can see here, my next entry is going to be over the whole dollar. And here we go. You see all the volume coming in. I get in. And you see there's definitely a lot of resistance at that $3 level. You see some pretty big sellers stacked up right there. We get over that point for just a second. You know, in retrospect, I wish I would have just sold then. I'm glad I sold, even if it was on the bid for a $5 loss. I'm glad I sold when I did, because you can see right here, it's dropped down to low 80s. I got filled at 294 on the bid, just bailing out with my hotkeys. So that was the first trade out of the gates, you know. So after commissions, I'm down about $15. I'm thinking, you know, that's not bad. Whatever. That's totally okay. I'm just gonna look for the next best opportunity to come up, and when it pops up, I'm gonna pop in. It pops up, I pop in. Okay, so let's see here. Next trade was on ACHV. So ACHV today was the biggest mover of the day. The stock went from a low of 160. It opened up around 162, I believe, and it went to a high of 320. So a 100% intraday move on ACHV, right? Pretty impressive. So my first trade on ACHV, 500 shares, was at 932.21. So it's gonna pop up on the momentum scanner, and you'll see me pull up the stock on the level 2 here. It's probably gonna be this left bottom window right here. So there it is, ACHV. Pull it up, and I'm thinking, okay, over $2. Since we're already pretty high up there, about 13 cents off of $2, I'll get in at $2. Pull up the chart, see how the chart looks. Okay, looks good. So you can see the volume coming in. I'm long at $2. There we go with my entry. Trying to sell up there at 215, didn't get filled. Quickly sold at 211 for a really quick, what is that? 17-cent gain. So not bad. So that put me up $65 on the day. $20 commissions, $45 net. And you can see it drops back down below $2. I was glad that I got filled at 211 and that I sold when I did. But this stock's not over though. We're seeing a pullback right here, and this is pretty normal on a good day for stocks to have these pullbacks. And these pullbacks are great opportunities to get into the stock. Some traders will get in, they'll jump in at the bottom of these pullbacks. I'm personally just not at that point yet. I tend to buy for the break of the pullback. And so you can see right here, missed my entry at 210. That would have been the high of the pullback, the break of the pullback. Missed my entry because I was looking at a different stock. Went to a high of about 225 right there. So Definitely not the cleanest right now. Very choppy, up and down action. So here's another pullback right here. So what you're looking at right here, when you see, so we get the double top right here, but what you're seeing right here, when the stock, it's two green candles, but we still have that bottoming tail, and there's another bottoming tail. Those are considered, well, those are what I call micro 1 minute pullbacks. To me, and you know, this is, people sort of define these a little bit different, and the way I define it just helps me out a little bit better. I define that as a 1 minute pullback. When a candle closes red, to me that's a 1 minute pullback. When it closes green, but we still have that bottoming tail right there, to me that's a micro 1 minute pullback. So I don't know what the exact definitions are. Maybe I'll look it up later just so I won't confuse you guys, but that's sort of how I classify it right now. So pulling up SLS, this was nothing. It popped up on the scanner for a second. I'm mad I pulled that up because I missed my 229 entry on ACHV down here because I'm watching SLS. So watch how fast this shoots over my entry. So I'm watching SLS. I'm not even paying attention to ACHV at this point. So there it goes, ACHV, you can see it down there. I finally noticed it and I'm thinking, dang it. Look at that. Missed my freaking entry and now it's past the whole dollar, looking really good. So I pull it back up. Look at that beautiful 1 minute pullback right there. I mean, that is just that's a beautiful 1 minute pullback, textbook right there. So if you would have gotten in right here for the break of that 1 minute pullback at around, I would say about 215-ish. This went to a high right here on this candle. It's still going up. 269. Look at that. And at this point, and this is sort of where my downfall came for the day. You know, as you know, if you watched the daily recap video, you saw that I closed red today. This was where it all began. I missed that entry. Beautiful 1 minute pullback right here. I missed it. And at this point, I was feeling flustered. I was frustrated that I missed the move. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I need to capture some profit. More profit, right? I've already captured profit. I need to capture more profit. So here is another micro 1 minute pullback. A great entry would be the high of the previous candle or the high of the 1 minute, the pullback. So you can see we're kind of sitting here at 272. Dropping below that level again. So this right now is considered a micro 1 minute pullback. And you can see a lot of traders filling in right here, holding this stock up. If this candle closes red, that's a 1 minute pullback. And then the proper entry would be the high of that pullback. So there's the micro 1 minute pullback. You know, to me, the micro 1 minute pullback is a much riskier entry than, and you can see right there, I'm at 275. I'm at 275. That would be the proper entry because that would be the high of that pullback right there. But I hesitate. And I don't get in. You can see right there, missed it. And I'm thinking, how many times am I going to do this? That's what I'm thinking to myself, you know. At what point am I going to get into this stock? Because it's right before my eyes, just squeezing up, and I'm not doing anything about it. And that's sort of where the downfall happens because I begin to experience intense FOMO, the fear of missing out. Look at that. We're over $3, $3.20. Just a huge move, right? Imagine if I would have gotten in right there at 275. And so at this point right here, I'm thinking, okay, the high of, here's another potential micro 1 minute pullback, right? But at this point, we're already pretty extended on the day. But you can see my entry right there at 310, 500 shares. Well, hold on, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, so there's my entry right there. Okay, so there's my entry right there. I'm just going to back up a little bit more so we can take a better look at that. So candle opens, you can see right here, new candle starts right here. See some pretty thick sellers there at $3. 11,000 share seller at $3. So I'm thinking over 310, that would be high of day. And you can see I'm in right there. And when I watch it now, you can see that it's obviously not, you can tell it's not going to break out. I'm just going to go back one more time. Watch. Well, that's a little bit too far back. So here's the new candle right there. So watch the price action. Watch the level 2 and the time and sales. So I'm getting my order ready. 310, 500 shares, and pops up to 310. But you know, it sort of just stops. It hits a brick wall, and you can see the seller stacked up right there at 310. And buyers take note of that. You know, people who are going long take note of that, and they notice that resistance right there. We pop up over 310 for just a second. In retrospect, you know, like then would have been a time to sell. And so now we're hitting that resistance too much. Buyers are taking note. $315, pop up to $315. I tried to sell up there on the ask. I couldn't get filled though. And at this point, I should have just bailed out on the bid. You know, we keep hitting that resistance spot. That's 3 candles so far that I can't get over that point. We keep dropping below the whole dollar. That's never good. And I'm trying to sell on the ask right here. So you can see right now, I mean, it's already definitely way past my max stop loss. And so, you know, in hindsight, I should have just sold on the bid. But, you know, like I talked about in the day trading recap video, it's those emotions of wishing and hoping that it's going to go back up, right? So now look at that. Drop down right there on that. This is an ugly drop right there. And I end up bailing out at 279. You know, what turned into a big loss could have easily been avoided, right? If I were just to follow my rules. And so that's why we have rules in place, is to avoid those emotions getting involved with your trading, right? If you just follow your rules that you have set in place, they're designed to help you through these moments. You know, you make the rules when you're not trading, right? You're in a clear state of mind. You're stable, emotionally stable. You make the rules then, right? And so they make sense to you. When you're trading, you're in a different emotional state. And so you have to remember that when you made those rules originally, you made it in a clear state of mind, right? And so just to trust those rules that you made and follow them is huge. That's the difference between winning and losing in the market, seriously. So I'm out and I'm thinking, okay, if this pops back up over 295, I'll get back into it. Let me see here. That wasn't my final trade of the day. I know that. So I traded ACHV one more time. Let's see. in a couple of minutes here. So my next trade on ACHV was at 9:44, and that was by this point I probably should have just stopped trading. I was emotionally sabotaged. I was already extremely frustrated from that loss, and so I should have just stopped. But I kept going, thinking to myself, okay, if I can just get another good opportunity on this, I'll get back, at least break even on the day, or try to cut down this loss a little bit. So after commissions, I'm down 120 today. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here. Okay, so back up just a little bit so we can see some of this price action. So next trade coming up here shortly on ACHV. Looks like I got my order prepared at 277. Let's see what happens. So any second now, I'll be getting in. 277, there it goes. I'm in. And I'm up $65, $70. And yeah, so I'm out. Not bad. So that was actually my third trade on ACHV. I traded this one more time. So that wasn't a bad trade, In at 75, out at 85. That's a 10-cent gain. $50 with 500 shares, not bad at all. So at this point, I'm only down 80 on the day. Thinking possibly 290 to get back in. That would be the high of the previous candle. And I'm in. And you can see right here, it's definitely not going to work out. I should be selling. Yep, okay, so I sold, got filled at 280. And that put me back down another, $35? So now I'm down 75. After commissions, 125. Definitely not the best setup. Now that I look at that chart, it's definitely not the best setup. There wasn't, after those two big red candles right there, and then we had that green doji candle, another red candle, there wasn't really a setup there. Even if we broke the high of that previous candle, I really don't think it would have made much of a move. Maybe 5-10 cents, but I don't know. But you can see, obviously, it didn't. It double tapped right there at that level. And then we have that nasty red candle. So this stock is pretty much done for the day. That was the bulk of its move, was right down here. These two 5-minute candles. So within 10 minutes, this stock went from 160 to 320. Definitely plenty of opportunity to capture profit. And I did. It's just that I held on to that loser just way too long. I think that trade lasted about 2 minutes, which is very unusual for me. Usually with my scalp trading, I'm in and out within a couple of seconds. Right? So other than like a circuit breaker halt, which can last between 5 or 10 minutes, other than that, my average time in a trade is just a few seconds. So the fact that I stayed in the trade for 2 minutes, just sort of proves that I wasn't following my usual strategy. And so at this point, that was my last trade for the day. So I'm down 125. And as you saw it, just a really bad trade there. I was thinking that it was a 1 minute pullback or micro 1 minute pullback. Got in, it wasn't. False breakout. I should have just gotten out. So I didn't, and I paid the price. So you can see right here, it's only 9:48. So you can see, a lot of action in the morning. And if you're able to capitalize on these stocks, on the movements, on the setups, the opportunities, I know traders who by 10 o'clock, after trading for 30 minutes, will make thousands of dollars, right? But just remember, those same traders all had to start somewhere. And so I look back at the traders who I look up to now, right? And they make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year trading the markets just a few hours a day. And you look back at their, they share their old statements, and you can see that their data, their stats are just as bad, right? Like right now, for example, although I'm green on the month, my winning percentage daily, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far this month, I have 8 green days and 7 red days, So as far as my day-to-day winning record is, it's 8-7, And the actual losses and the wins that I'm accumulating during those days are fluctuating a lot as well. So the point I'm trying to make is that even these traders who are great now all had to start at the same place that I'm at right now. And so I'm more so saying this for the future, when traders are watching this, after I've, had the time in the market, the screen time to really improve, and I can just get out of these beginner mistakes and begin trading better and begin trading more profitably with larger size. Once I get to that point, this right here is going to be for traders who are at the point I'm at now, right? So that they can see, if you just put in the time, if you just study, put in the screen time, right? Like, trade the markets, even if it's just paper trading, or if you're trading with small size, trade the markets, get your screen time, study, take data. I'm probably eventually going to share my Excel document that I've created that I use to collect my data. I'll share that with you guys eventually so that you can use my template so you can begin collecting your own data. And so yeah, that's it for today, guys. I'm just rambling now. So I'm going to be back tomorrow for another live trading recap. And hopefully we see some other good opportunities like we did today. ACHV was a great stock. And if you followed your rules, if you got in, if you didn't hesitate on the setups that were definitely available, you would have done very well today, right? Even with small size like myself. So that's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope this was helpful. Take care. Bye.